So Gleyber Torres on Friday night hits a screaming drive to left field. Now, I never understood why he stood there and watched it because it was a low-line drive. Now, he hit it really well. It's the hardest hit ball of the season off his bat. But for him to think that that was long gone, it's folly. Anyway, he stood and watched it, banged off the wall. He ended up getting only a single. Now, you can make an argument, you really can, that even if he ran hard out of the box, he was not getting to second base. That's how hard the ball was hit, and it was played well out in the outfield. And because it's Gleyber Torres, and, you know, I guess you make your own luck, he ends up getting thrown out at home plate on a Volpe double. So it looks even worse. Because he's thrown out at home plate, he's on the field, he goes to take second base, they don't take him out of the game there. They take him out of the game the next half inning and say, all right, you're done. And they put in Oswaldo Cabrera. And I'm going to tell you what. Gleyber makes his own bed. I get it. I understand it. And I understand what Boone did. I'm not criticizing Boone here. But imagine you have a 7-year-old kid. There's Gleyber Torres been on the Yankees 7 years. And you let him eat gummy worms every single evening before bed. Every evening. For all 7 of his years. And then suddenly in the 7th year of his life, you go, oh, no. You can't eat gummy worms anymore. Well, why? You've let me eat them for 7 years. Not anymore. It's not the right thing. Well, it hasn't been the right thing for 7 years. It truly hasn't been the right thing for 7 years. Gleyber Torres has a world of talent. And he plays dumb baseball sometimes. You would think that a guy who's on the precipice of making generational wealth to be a free agent would play hard and play like his hair is on fire every single day. Again, that's on him. I don't know what drives players. I don't know what slows players down. I can't get into their mind. And one thing I always do, I don't criticize physical errors. I couldn't do it. I criticize mental errors. I criticize lack of hustle. Because any one of us, if we had that opportunity to be a baseball player, would actually play hard every single time and run hard to first base every single time. Some players don't. So, okay. So, for 7 years, you've allowed Gleyber Torres to play like this. I don't know if they've ever told him behind the scenes. He was benched a couple of weeks ago, and he's hit well. Since then, he's hit over 300. He also has a nonchalant way about him when he plays defense, which is bad body language for people watching the game. But here's my point. Gleyber has sat on that bench, been in the field, been a Yankee for all this time. Let's just go back to last year. Let's just go back one more year. Josh Donaldson did it at least 6 times. At least 6 times. Not a word. He wasn't taken out of a game. Gleyber Torres saw that. Why wasn't Josh Donaldson disciplined? I love Juan Soto. Love watching him play. Does it all the time. Watches the ball and then has to really hustle to get to second base when it goes off the wall. He's not disciplined. Now, I know that there are certain rules for stars. It's the Jordan rules. I get it. I do understand that. But if you're Gleyber Torres, who again, I don't think he has a high baseball IQ, and you see everybody else do it, and not just on the Yankees, throughout baseball, and you've done it for all these years, then all of a sudden on Friday you got taken out of the game. His head must be spinning. Must be spinning. What happened? What changed? What just changed? Why didn't Josh Donaldson get taken out of games? Why isn't Juan Soto spoken to? Giancarlo Stanton does it all the time. In fact, last year I think that's how he pulled his muscle, because he had to speed up to get to second base because he's admiring a long fly ball. It's epidemic in baseball. It must be stopped. I understand. Let the kids play. I get it. My one rule if I was a manager, you run hard out of the box. And when the ball crosses the wall and goes into the seats, I don't care if you do cartwheels around the bases. I don't know, care if you do disco moves around the bases. Give me a hard run to first base until the ball clears the wall. And then I was just working with Joe Girardi on Yes. And I think Joe's a tremendous broadcaster, just an aside. So many positive things from people on Twitter. And he said, well, and he was not excusing Gleyber. He said, that's just a bad read. They think it's out. I get it. Don't think. Don't think. I think every time somebody admires it, they think it's out. So there's a chance there's going to be a bad read. Why can't you just run hard until it's out? Is that such a hard thing to do? Also, if you're an older fan, or even if you're a younger fan and you have access to the internet, and you take a look at baseball in the 50s and 60s, and I'm not one of these, back in the day guys, but just consider this, everybody. Did you ever see Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, any of those guys, go back further, Joe DiMaggio, ever slap hands with the first base coach? Of course you didn't, because they were running hard until the ball cleared the wall. They were past the first base coach. Think about that. Travis Chapman, the Yankee first base coach, should never touch a Yankee player's hand that hits a home run, because the Yankee player should be running hard around first base. Around first base. And then when it's gone, do what you want. Moonwalk around the bases if you want. Call all the attention in the world to yourself. So, did Aaron Boone do the right thing with Gleyber Torres? Yes. 7 years too late. And that's on Joe, too. Joe Girardi had him first. So you ignored it for 7 years. There's got to be something deeper, people. There's got to be something deeper. Now, the Yankees know Gleyber Torres is not coming back next year. So what a perfect guy to make an example of. He's not coming back, so let's take him out and make an example of him, and maybe that'll get the attention of the other people. It is criminal that this happens over and over and over in baseball. And I actually feel sorry for Torres for all the mixed messaging that he's gotten. And this is coming from a guy, me, who thinks that Boone did the right thing. And then when Boone was questioned about it after Friday, he was very short with his answers. And then he was more expansive on Saturday. And I was in the room then. And he said, I just thought it was time. So he didn't really get into the nitty-gritty of why was this time? Why wasn't it time to do it to Donaldson? Why wasn't it ever time to do it to Stanton? Why? And we're just talking about the Yankees here. It could be anybody. It could be any team. It happens all the time. It's criminal. It's criminal. I understand you want to flip the bat and make a big show and show how great you are. I get it. There's ego involved. But can't you do something when the ball clears the wall? It happens so often. People get hurt that way because they speed up and they slow down when they don't have to. I've seen it with Stanton. And it's going to happen again. Now, it might not happen with Gleyber Torres because even Aaron Judge said, I'm sure he'll never do that again. And he probably won't. I mean, unless he's a nudnik, he's never going to do it again. He's only going to be on the Yankees for 2 more months, and then the postseason. He shouldn't do it again. If he does it again, he has to have his head examined. But why does anybody do it? And why is anybody allowed to do it? Now, I know you got to really tiptoe around Juan Soto. You can't exactly discipline Juan Soto when you're trying to sign him for a long-term contract at the end of the year. But put yourself in Gleyber Torres' shoes, everybody. And I know I did the show last week with Peter, and I even mentioned on the air on Friday, the new Yankee public enemy number one, Yankee fan public enemy number one is Gleyber. Just is. I could sense it, and then that happened on Friday. So now it's only going to be worse. But put yourself in his shoes. He was allowed to eat gummy worms for the first 7 years of his life. Then he goes into the bag sometime in the 7th year, and they go, whoa, 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 whoa. No. What? Why? All the kids eat gummy worms. You let me eat gummy worms for 7. Not anymore. It's just time to stop. How is he supposed to know that it was time to stop? Imagine this. I'm giving sympathy to a guy who didn't hustle. It's on him that he didn't, but it's on everybody else that you get mixed messages and you allow it to go on over and over and over again. And he's the guy that got zeroed in on to be taken out of the game and embarrassed. You see him in the dugout? He had tears in his eyes. He had tears in his eyes. Because he's the kid that goes, wow, it was okay to do that all these years, and why tonight? And I thought he was great in the postgame, took total responsibility. What's he supposed to say? So shame on Gleyber for being in the last year of his contract and playing the way he's played. And then shame on baseball for allowing this to happen every single day with long, long fly balls where players admire it and it doesn't go out. How do you pick and choose who gets disciplined? How do you pick and choose who gets taken out of the game? Why was it Gleyber? Why? Because he's only got 2 more months here? You just got fed up? Are you going to get fed up with other players? Never got fed up with Donaldson. Never got fed up with Stanton. And if you got fed up, you kind of bit your lip and you let it go on. So all the young players see that message and they go, well, those guys could do it. Now, you can say those guys deserve to do it. They're stars. Because Anthony Volpe runs hard all the time. He's seeing the same thing. He's getting the same kind of messages. But he knows the way to play baseball, run hard all the time till the ball clears the wall. Watch Volpe. He never stands there and admires it, even if it's a long, long drive. Look at Judge. Never stands there and admires it. The only time he did was against the Red Sox when they took a long time going around the bases. Enough is enough. It's got to end. But now you've got to discipline everybody because you just disciplined Torres. So I'll open up the phones and you could talk about it. I feel sorry for him. He did the wrong thing, but in a very weird way, he was wronged. It had never been bad to do it until Friday night in August. Why? Why? What was the tipping point? We never reached that with Josh Donaldson. We've never reached that with Soto. We've never reached that with Giancarlo Stanton. Never. But Gleyber got taken out of the game. And, again, before anybody misinterprets what I'm saying, right move. Should have been done a long time ago. But why Friday? And if you're Gleyber Torres, you're probably going, why me? Why me? What did I do wrong? Why am I the one being disciplined when everybody in the league does it? Something to think about. That's Diamond Notes, brought to you by London Jewelers. Visit London Jewelers today at any of their 7 locations, including the Americana Mall and the mall at Short Hills. And driven by Nissan. You deserve a car that thrills you, and Nissan's got an exciting full line that'll put goosebumps on your goosebumps. Experience the thrill for yourself. Shop your local Nissan store at nissanusa.com today. Now, there's a good chance that they know stuff that I don't know. And maybe Torres has been told behind the scenes 100 times and ignored them. But until they make that stuff public, then that's my thought. That's my opinion. Unless you make me privy to the fact that he's ignored 100 warnings, then I'm going to think that he's been made an example of for the sins of mostly every player in Major League Baseball and many on the Yankees. So unless I know the real deal, and they certainly don't have to tell me the real deal, all I could do is process the information that you say publicly. You've never said anything about this. So out of the blue, that's the day, that was the tipping point. I would think Josh Donaldson might have tipped that point a couple times. Not a word. 1-800-919-3776. We're going to have a great show today. We're on till 6:30. I'm doing it alone, K Solo.